Is Apple the latest to do this? Who else is doing this? Why has it become a trend?
Yeah, well, we've seen it across tech, as you said. We've seen it with Apple, Netflix, Oracle, Qualcomm. We've seen a bunch just drop this, and the reason is it's not required anymore. So they're not doing anything wrong. This isn't, something anyone should necessarily be shocked about. But the ramifications are, it does make it harder to see whether companies are actually repatriating their cash.
Why didn't they start doing this before? Is it a new rule that they don't have to now?
Yeah, so basically cash is fungible. So it's not really giving any additional information to investors. If they see the total cash, they know, hey, this is available across the company. They can use it for M&A here. They can use it for M&A somewhere else. They can use it for CapEx.
Yeah, but I don't understand why there isn't a duty to tell investors that. Doesn't Apple have a duty to tell investors what it's doing with the extra money that it's making?
Yeah, so they still have to show it as the total cash, right? And so what tax experts have been telling us, and the reason they said, hey, this is something worth writing, is that it's part of perhaps a lack of disclosure right now of not having clarity from the IRS about what is actually required. So the rules as they are now are that they don't have to disclose this, and each company is deciding maybe there's no value in this. The cash is, like I said, fungible.
And Facebook hasn't it, Brandon? But it seems to be the likes of Apple and some of the other tech companies the exception than the rule, isn't it? Because a lot of companies are still reporting.
Exactly. And as you said, Facebook is one that is still showing it. Surprisingly, and this is kind of what we've seen across the board in the sample we looked at, is that they're actually not repatriating as much as anyone would have expected. Facebook has an all-time high last quarter for overseas cash.
What's the best we can hope for then, Brandon, when it comes to repatriation? What's the best case scenario for Trump?
Yeah, well, what we've been told is that it's going to be selective. So at this point in the economic cycle, maybe the best we can hope for is, bit by bit, a little bit here and there, and people not overextending themselves to use that cash.
Yeah, are investors going to have to start doing math themselves now? For all of these companies, not just Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, all of these major tech companies have started to do it. So will it be a guessing game? Oh, well, they made that acquisition. Did they use their cash? Or, how much do they borrow from banks?
If investors care about where that cash came from, if it came from the overseas portion of what they're holding or the U.S. portion, yes, they're going to have to do some guessing or talking to IR or, doing a little bit of math on their own of thinking about where it came from. The question overall is whether it matters where it came from. That's not necessarily clear right now until we get more rules in terms of global minimum tax.
Well, and the other question is, does this put less pressure on the likes of an Apple to invest?
I'm not sure if that's clear. It's, the money's there, basically. So whether they use it or not, I don't think it makes much of a difference in terms of if they invest or not.